Hi, welcome to Liberty Park Music. I'm Michelle Huang, your piano instructor. In today's lesson, we will learn two new types of chordal accompaniments that are often used to harmonize melodies. One is called the Alberti Bass, and the other one is called the Waltz bass accompaniment. We will talk about each in detail and how we can harmonize melodies using the tonic, subdominant, and dominant chords that we have talked about before with these two new accompaniment styles. So far, we have already learned two different types of accompaniment, block and broken chords. Block chords are chords with all the notes played together. Broken chords are block chords, but with notes played one at a time. Let's take a look at a new accompaniment figure called the Alberti Bass, named after the 18th century composer Domenico Alberti. Alberti Bass is essentially a kind of broken chord where the notes of the chord are presented in the order of lowest, highest, middle, and highest. This pattern is often repeated over and over, going through different harmonies to accompany the melody, as you can see in this first piece. The chord progression here is 1-4-1-5-1, which we have already learned. But now the notes are simply broken up into bottom, top, middle, top to form the Alberti Bass accompaniment. The idea is that this pattern helps to create a smooth, sustained, and flowing sound on the piano. Let's add the melody to the Alberti Bass accompaniment. Another style of accompaniment is the waltz bass accompaniment, which is essentially a combination of broken and block chords. The base of the chord goes on the first beat. The rest of the chord is in block chord form, placed on the second and the third beat. The harmony here is another 1-4-1-5-1 chord progression. But in waltz bass accompaniment. Notice that because it's a waltz, a piece with a waltz bass accompaniment is always in 3, with a slight emphasis on the first beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The first beat is not an accent, but simply a placement of the beat, so it's clear that we are in 3-4. Let the weight of your arm naturally drop into the key. Sink and play the note without force, just letting the gravity do the work. Release the arm and play beats 2 and 3. The general motion for this is down, up, up. But remember to make your down motion gentle without force. Then release upwards using your wrist, almost a light bouncing motion on the second and third beats. Let's add a melody to it. Remember to keep your left hand nice and soft so the right hand melody can be heard. Next, let's take a look at how to harmonize melodies using the tonic, subdominant, and dominant chords with the two accompaniment styles we have just learned. Here's a short piece to practice the Alberti Bass accompaniment. We will use tonic, subdominant, and dominant chords to harmonize the given melody with the Alberti Bass accompaniment. The first step is to determine the type of chords that will go at the beginning of each measure. To determine which chord will work and sound best with the melody, follow these general guidelines. Use tonic when most of the melody notes consist of 1, 3, and 5. Use subdominant when most of the melody notes consist of 1, 4, and 6. Use dominant when most of the melody notes consist of 2, 4, 5, and 7. For subdominant and dominant chords, use the inversion when necessary to create a smoother movement from the previous chord. For the dominant, you can omit the third note. Spend a few minutes using this guideline. Write the Roman numeral name of each chord on the line below the staff, using the necessary inversions to create a smooth line. Check your answers on the screen. Notice that all of the dominant and subdominant chords are in their respective inversions. This is simply to minimize the movements from and to the tonic chord. This way we can keep the bass movements fairly small. Now, let's add a melody to the chord progression. Now let's break up the left-hand chords into Alberti Bass accompaniment. Remember to form an Alberti Bass, simply break up the chords into low, high, middle, high, and repeat the pattern. Now, let's add melody to the Alberti Bass accompaniment. Now we will take a look at a famous piece by the Romantic German composer Johannes Brahms called Lullaby. We will practice forming the waltz style accompaniment with this piece. Unlike the Alberti Bass short piece, this one has letter name of each chord written above the melody. Each letter indicates the type of chord to be played. So in measure 1, we will play a root position E flat major chord. If you remember from the chord chart we talked about from a few lessons back, the slash shown in measure 4 indicates that the chord to be played here is a B flat 7 chord. But with D as the root, which will be B flat 7 in its first inversion. Again, this is to ensure that we can move easier from the E flat tonic chord to the B flat 7 chord by simply moving the bass down half step. For the B flat 7 chord, we can also eliminate the fifth, which is the F, to match the 3 notes in the tonic chord. Spend a few minutes, form and play each chord as indicated on the score. Now let's add the melody with the block chord accompaniment first. Now let's form the waltz accompaniment. Take each block chord. Separate the bass note and place on the first beat of the measure. Play the third and fifth notes of the chord together. Repeat them twice. Do the same for the other chords. Remember, drop arm gently into the first beat and release gently for the second and third beats. Let's add the melody to the waltz style accompaniment, paying attention to the dotted rhythms on the right hand and how they fit into the waltz pattern. 3 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 1 and 2 and. In this lesson, we learned 2 new types of chordal accompaniment, Alberti Bass and Waltz Bass. We also talked about how to harmonize melodies using the tonic, subdominant, and dominant chords with these 2 accompaniment styles. In today's lesson, we also review broken and block chords. These 4 different accompaniment styles add more variety to the music that we play. In your homework, you will find more harmonization exercises as well as pieces with these 4 different types of accompaniment styles. See you in your next lesson.